Thank you for downloading this podcast from the British Theatre Guide. For more information about British Theatre Guide, please visit britishtheatreguide.info.
Peter Straker is a Jamaican-born British singer and actor whose first big break was as Hood in the West End premiere of the musical Hair in 1968. Since then, he has had a long and impressive career in both musical and non-musical theatre and as a recording artist, notably collaborating with Freddie Mercury, who was also a close friend. He had a highly acclaimed run of his show based on the songs of Jacques Brel a few years ago at the Edinburgh Fringe, but this year he's trying something he hasn't done before with his show Adventures of Straker, a compendium of hits from musicals he has performed in and a few that he hasn't, accompanied by musician Gabriele Baldocci. I spoke to Peter just before his last two performances of the musical Jean by Shirley Roden at the Turbine Theatre in London, and I asked him what adventures he will be taking us on for his Fringe show.
Taking an adventure of musical theatre in a way. Well, in my case, I don't know what musical theatre is a genre really, and it's a sort of conceit and idea that came about with my director and producer Kerry Michael. He's been talking to me for years about doing something like this, and I've always resisted it. But when we talked about it in March or something like that, August seemed such a long way away, so we said, yes, let's do it. August is here.
Yes, yeah.
So it's really, it's talking about theatres, stuff that I've done in the West End, and taking songs from some of the shows I've done, or songs or some of the songs that I did on tour, and then singing other songs from other shows which nobody asked me to be in, but which I liked.
Yeah.
And I like some of the music. So it's sort of quite eclectic and it moves along, I hope, hopefully quite nicely. And it's a bit of a challenge, really. I've never done anything like this before. So it's a challenge. And we like challenges.
Well, you've got plenty of material to draw on, haven't you? I mean, you're going back over more than 50 years of the shows you've been in yourself. Yes,
that's true. And also there's shows before and after and shows that I haven't even seen, but I'm still doing it. So so it's a challenge. That's the nicest way I can put it, really.
So where do you start on when you're selecting songs for a show like this?
Well, originally what I did was I just made a list of songs, and Kerry had a list, and then we got together and we went through the list. And we had, just to start with, because basically we're just doing an hour, 50 minutes to an hour, because the festival it's 50 minutes actually. Yeah. And then we just whittled them down. But there were so many songs. We had about 70 songs that I might try and learn or read them. Anyway, it's been whittled down. It's been cut down remarkably. And so we're doing bits of songs and bits of other songs and the full songs and just putting. So we've put. Well, it'd be interesting. I don't want to say too much about it. It'd just be interesting. I hope people will enjoy it really. Yeah. And it's a big thing, so it's all right. And I'm working with the most wonderful virtuoso musician, musical director, Gabriele Baldocci, who's an international piano player in his own right. He does concerts all over the world and stuff. And I happened to meet in one of my favourite restaurants, actually. I think to meet a lot of my friends in restaurants some 5 or 6 years ago. And he sort of said, one day he'd love to work with me. And so it's happened. We've been working on and off for the last 4 or 5 years, just doing little things. And now we're doing this. Yeah. So we're doing 6 shows. 6 shows. I can't believe it. Yeah. We start on Monday, Monday the 15th, I think it is, isn't it?
15th, that's right, yeah.
15th, yes, 15th to the 20th, that's right. Yeah. I'm being so vague. I'm saying that because I'm doing another show at the moment in London, right, at the Turbine Theatre, which is a show by Shirley Roden called Jeanne, which we're revisiting. I did it in the 80s with her, and Bill Kenwright wanted to have a look at it again. So we've been doing. I did that last night, and we've got tonight, Friday, and then 2 on Saturday, and then I'm on the train on Sunday to Edinburgh.
Right.
So it's non-stop at the moment, delightfully non-stop.
Yeah. Well, you obviously enjoy it. You're not slowing down at all.
No, not really. I'm trying not to. I'm trying not. It's been actually the last 2.5 years have been slow, obviously.
Yeah.
In its ways, but yeah. So yes, it's go.
And I saw your fantastic Jacques Brel show. I can't believe it was 9 years ago I saw that in Edinburgh. Bought the CD as well straight afterwards. It was a fantastic show. But that was more than just... there was some great songs in that, but it was more than just the songs. It was all linked together with stories about Brel and about your connection with him. So is this going to be the same? Are there going to be stories linking the songs?
Well, I think there's a few little stories, yes. a few stories, and I do sing. I can't do a show without singing Jacques Brel. So, and of course, and Jacques Brel was a show put together anyway on Broadway originally.
Yeah.
Jacques Brel was alive and well and living in Paris, and he came to London. So yes, so there'll be 1 or 2 songs from that to do as well. So yeah. So I'm quite excited about it, really, and I'm daunted. I'm very frightened about it because we've done one preview in London at Crowndale Road, 26 Crowndale Road, and now it'll be interesting to see when we do this little run of six shows how it goes.
Do you still get nervous about a new show even after all this time? Then
deeply nervous, more nervous than ever.
Really?
Because as you get older, you sort of know what can go wrong. And you've been it. You just know.
Yeah.
And when you're young, you're just so full of it in a way. You just jump on the, on the high wire and just think you can walk across.
Yeah.
So it's, I'm quite nervous about it. Yes, but also I'm looking forward to it. Once I get over the nerves, hopefully I'll be all right.
Yeah. So how did you get from being born in Jamaica in 1943 to being in Hair on the West End in 1968?
Very difficult. I'm not quite sure, really, because my mother was Mavis Straker. She was a leader singer, and she was doing quite. She studied in New York, and then she came to London to study, and then I think her marriage, the marriage broke down, and she won custody, and I came to London with my grandmother and 2 siblings, and Paul and Martin, and we settled in London, and we lived here in London, grew up in a suburb of London called Palmer's Green, and I decided at one stage that I wanted to be an actor, and that's really what I wanted to do, and I went via the route of Hair. Because again, with that awful thing of youth, I decided that I could do it. I didn't need to go to drama school, or fool, because drama school would have been just fun, looking back. But and that's how it. So we went through. I was lucky to get Hair.
Yeah.
I mean, the stories of we 9 times I auditioned for that show, and eventually we got it. I got it, and most of the cast, the original cast, they did the same thing. 9 auditions, and then the Americans chose us, and yes, and that was it, and it started, and I've been lucky enough to just sort of keep being there and getting on with it, really.
Yeah.
So that's a short answer to how it was done.
Well, when you did Hair, I mean, 1968 was quite a significant year because it was the year of the Theatres Act that abolished the Lord Chamberlain, who was censored everything. So you suddenly had this freedom. You were doing something that was political. It doesn't have the same political impact now, but at the time it was a major thing, criticising the US government and the Vietnam War. You all ended up naked on stage. You must have really felt like you were changing the world.
Well, I looking back, yes. But at the time, I think I know I was very nervous and I didn't understand it too much. I understood as we read about it and as we got to know while we were rehearsing, because we spent most of the summer of '68 rehearsing with Tom O'Horgan, who was the director. Yeah. We knew that the abolition of the Lord Chamberlain's office was about to happen, so everything was timed to open on that particular night, which was it made headlines as well. Apart from the whole problems with the politics of the show. And of course, there were a lot of religious people. I mean, it stabbed at everything that was on the agenda for people's sensibilities. Yeah. It wasn't anti anything, but it did stab at the way the business was carried on within the church, and how you couldn't say this, you couldn't say that. We couldn't swear on stage in those days.
No.
As well, and that became a big thing. Just as using the F word and things like that, and other words. We won't go through them. We all know what they are now.
Yes.
And of course, it was anti-war as well. So it was anti lots of established things that people are going. And the songs and the music is just fabulous.
Yeah.
So, and I still remember some of the music. And in fact, last night in London, I was out after doing the show at the Turbine. I was out just having some supper, and this huge moon appeared over the clock near where I live. And it brought up, and I started to sing "Good Morning Starshine" from here. Because look at the moon, good morning starshine. Says hello, and it just brought back. So the music is wonderful.
Yeah,
just beautiful and not dated at all.
No, it does still. The political message obviously isn't relevant anymore, but the music, it really does still stand up, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, the political elements are later, but I mean, anti-war is very. I mean, look at what's happening in Europe, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But we're still doing it. People are still killing each other.
Yeah.
No respect for human life. No nothing. Nobody can sit down and talk and have a conversation and say or agree to disagree. But we don't have to be killing each other.
Yeah.
I still don't believe in. I still don't believe in killing people.
Yeah.
But there you are. It's a machinery of nations.
Yeah.
It terrifies you after all these years and all the history that we have.
Yeah. When that was happening on stage, there was so much else happening around the world, all the student protests, and it happens to be the year I was born as well. But
right. You young man.
But there was so much going on. So once you did realise the message that you were broadcasting on stage, it must have been quite invigorating, was it?
It was actually, and it started a whole movement, which still continues today, and it's vibrant, and it should people. I wish we could get to other people. It's difficult. It's difficult because the machinations and the mechanics of vast countries being aggressive or anti this and it's awful, and autocracies and democracies. It's very sad. Very sad that people are still killing each other. We're still killing each other.
And I suppose some of these countries that are in trouble at the moment are countries that you've been to and performed in, are they?
Some of them, yes. Some of them, but not all of them. I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to some. I'm not going to get over political at this stage, but yeah. But it's you still see it happening, Yeah. Awful. But people must please come and see the show, possibly in Edinburgh, because it'd be lovely. There's hope at the end of everything, and we've got to hope, because if we don't have hope in the world, I know it sounds an old cliche. If we don't have hope, there is no hope for anybody. So we've got to start one by one trying to do it.
Yeah, well, you've done many more positive shows as well. You've done Tommy, Phantom of the Opera, Rocky Horror.
Yes.
What were you in Rocky Horror?
I played Frankenfurter.
Ah, right.
Yes, the demonic mad person. Yes. Building his own man-made, like Frankenstein. Bringing up. It wasn't a monster, though. He wasn't a monster. So no, yes, it was good. Yes, I remember some of those. Yes, but we're doing some of those songs, and some of. Not sure. I think we've left some out as well, because I also wanted to do some alternative, some other songs that I've never done before, but songs that I like. So it's good. Yeah.
Because you've had a separate recording career as well, haven't you, apart from your musical theatre? I'm
lucky. Yes, I was lucky enough to do that, and I'm still recording. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So we're all right. So I did. Yeah, I recorded. I did. My first album was with Howard and Blakely.
Yeah,
and I believe Alan Blakely died just recently, about 4 weeks ago. It was very sad.
Yeah,
and then I did a set of albums with. But after that, this one's on me, which was produced by my pal Freddie Mercury.
Yes,
and Roy Thomas Baker, which was great joy to do and fun. I learned so much doing that as well. And then under his auspices as well, I did 2 more EMI records and then with Rocket Records. And then I got a bit disillusioned with the record industry because nobody would play my records over here.
Yeah.
The BBC didn't play any of my records for some reason. They weren't good enough.
Right.
And so that's my spin on it.
Yeah.
But of course, I was doing rock and roll.
Yeah.
And probably a black man doing rock and roll in those days wasn't quite considered whatever it was. I don't want to go into that. But that's my take on it. But I did very well in Europe.
Yeah.
So the album sold very well in Europe, so that was quite good. And then I decided that I was lucky enough to be asked to do stuff in the theatre. So I went to the National Theatre after that and did Measure for Measure with Michael Rodman and a host of other people, Norman Beaton and Stefan Galuffa. And that was great fun. And then I sort of just muddled through, I suppose.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you found that your voice has changed at all over the years?
It's changed. I think it's got stronger in a way. I've been very lucky. It's changed, but it's changed. I think in a way better. I feel stronger. I feel more able to deal and sing other things and with another layer of
a bit of depth.
And sort of just. I like singing in that because I believe in lyrics and words.
Yeah.
And what they mean, and I like that communication. To try and communicate with an audience. I know it sounds a bit pompous, but I really do, and I try as much as just to storytell, just to tell a story. You know?
Yeah. Because you do sing with a lot of clarity to the words. I suppose that comes from the musical theatre background, is it?
I suppose so, but it's just naturally. Again, I think it's because of telling a story.
Yeah.
And you can't fiddle around. You've got to be quite straightforward. I think. I don't know. That's for somebody else to decide.
I mean, a lot of people, when they get older, they lose sort of the higher registers. But I watched the trailer that you've done for this show, and you're still very strong in some of those high rock notes, aren't you?
Yes, I can. Thank goodness.
Yes.
I'm lucky. That's why I said I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Honestly, David, I'm just lucky. So I'm very pleased about that. Because you need a bit of luck in everything. So yes, I'm lucky. Yeah.
So, looking back, some of the names that you've just mentioned over the past 20 minutes, do you ever look back and think that you're amazed at what's happened and who you've worked with and all the shows that you've managed to do?
Yes. Well, yes and no, because I'm not a great one for looking back. I'm still looking forward.
Yeah.
But I suppose so. Yeah, and some of the people like that I miss very, very much, because I miss Freddie quite a lot.
Yeah.
And we talk about him, and it's all the people that you grew up with. They're sort of your what you call them? I don't know. They're your contemporaries.
Yeah.
And you happen to meet them because one of the other people I miss very, very, and she was very dear to me, was Donna Summer.
Right.
Who passed away as well because Donna was in Hair in Germany, in Munich.
Yeah.
And then she came to London and we met and we stayed friends all those years. And I went over into Nashville where she was living at some time. And we tried recording together. And I found some tapes the other day of some stuff that we've done. And I went, oh my God, I'd forgotten about all of that. So it's just, I don't mean it like that. Just think, oh, yes, I did that. I've forgotten them. It's not out to the public, but it was done.
Yeah.
So, So I miss a lot of friends and lots of other people that nobody met. There's musicians and people that aren't well known or anything who I've just worked with, and you just think, oh God, where are they? They're gone.
Yeah.
But there's still a few of us still here.
Yeah.
As I call it. So yeah. I hear what you're saying.
Are there any shows that you haven't done, and many musicals that you'd like to, or you'd like to have done?
I suppose one of the shows I think I would have liked to have done would have been Miss Saigon.
Right. Yeah.
Possibly, which that's a long story, which is because I recorded the original album with David Essex and Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
And then it was just shelved. So, but that's show business.
Yes.
So that's possibly one of the ones. But if I don't get them, I don't think about them.
Right.
Because it's too late. You can't. You just can't think of what if.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at what if. So that's it's just one of my philosophies. Just you into it. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have still got things lined up for the future. You're still rehearsing. So what else? Is there anything else you've got lined up?
Yes, I think we're going to try and make an album this year to finish up. But I've just done a new single, which I think is coming out in September. Well, I know it's coming out, but everything's on digital things now.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure. We're talking. Well, I'm not talking, but I'm talking through some of the guys, people who are working with me and helping. And I will know when I come back from Edinburgh exactly when we're doing it and when we're doing the video and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Which is I know I'm going to do, and so it's ongoing like that. And I'm going to do. I'm trying out this year. I'm going to do a pantomime at Isha Theatre. I haven't done a pantomime for about 7 or 8 years.
Right.
So that's going to be a joke with a lovely. I'm doing it with a Bobby Crush actually.
Oh yeah.
So we're doing Aladdin. So yes, I'm going to try and pantomime. So but that's usually great fun because it's just fun and hard work. But yeah.
What part are you playing in panto?
I'm doing the Genie of the Lamp.
Right.
So that's from Aladdin, and so that's great fun. Bobby's playing. I think Bobby's playing. He's playing Widow Twankey, and Jan Hunt is in it. So and she's lovely. So now I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah. So we come back and do that, and then I go. I think I'm going to Montreux to celebrate. It's a year late, but Freddie's life and birthday. So I do that, and I go and do a concert there.
Right.
And I'm going to work with another band there, which we've just done a version of one of my songs. So I'm going to premiere that there. So yes, I'm running around. I'm hobbling around.
Great. But first Edinburgh. So back in Edinburgh after 2 years of no Fringe.
Yes, I know. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be quite frightening as well, I think. But it's on now. As I said at the beginning, August is here.
Yeah.
So we got to just grab the bull by the horns and just go in.
Yeah. That was Peter Straker, whose show The Adventures of Straker will be at the Space at Nidri Street in Edinburgh from the 15th to the 20th of August 2022, each day at 6:55 p.m. For more information, see www.adventuresofstraker.co.uk, or to book tickets, go to www.edfringe.com. You can find more information about Peter Straker and his work at his own website, newsite.peterstraker.com.
You've been listening to a podcast from British Theatre Guide. For more information, please visit britishtheatreguide.info.